Well, the God of Mischief went through some massive changes in the Loki Season 2 finale, and many of us wondered where God Loki could show up next. A new rumor seems to suggest that the plan now is to be a huge and central part of Secret Wars. Let's take a couple minutes to break down a report, talk about who it comes from, and why this seems like a giant duh to me. Now, before we do this though, make sure you hit that like and subscribe button and ring the bell for all the updates. We do daily Marvel and DC videos, and we want to be your place for all the superhero news. But we'll bring it to you truthfully and transparently. Well guys, as we get this daily influx of rumors and news, sometimes you get a story that you kinda just say, well duh. And today's story about Loki seems to fall into that category, but it doesn't mean it's not true. Now, it's become super clear that Marvel's multiverse saga is in somewhat of a state of flux. We've heard about changes to both Kang Dynasty and Secret Wars over the last couple of weeks, so all of this we want to take with a healthy dose of skepticism. Now, we do know there's a lot of changes behind the scenes with Destin Daniel Cretton leaving Kang Dynasty, and the potential for Jonathan Majors getting the boot as the MCU's big bad, with some speculating he could be recast, and others wondering if a time-traveling version of Doctor Doom could take his place. Now, we were wondering if Loki Season 2 could clear a lot of this up, but the finale did very little to clarify where Marvel Studios is going, and some people even believe it laid the groundwork, but some people do believe it quietly laid the groundwork for Kang to be dropped or replaced. Now, earlier today, we got a new rumor from My Time to Shine Hello. And like we always like to say, with scoopers, we want to be really careful. With anonymous scoopers, we want to be even more careful. And when they give us duh reports, and I think this is a duh report, well, we're dumping the whole thing of salt on that because this, although it might be true, isn't really what I consider a big reveal. Now, what My Time to Shine is saying is that Loki will have a, quote, huge role in the upcoming Avengers Secret Wars. Which, as many of you can tell, I'm a little bit skeptical of their report. First and foremost, at this point, there's not even a screenplay written. I really feel like this particular story is really just based on the end of Loki Season 2, and how clearly he's set up to be part of Secret Wars. It's just unclear to everybody exactly where. We left Loki off at the end of time, holding on to all the threads for the multiverse and giving everybody free will. And I suspect, even though he will be part of this, that's all anybody knows. More than likely, what's happened is this report is probably based on some kind of potentially leaked directive from Marvel itself, putting Loki front and center in the story. Just how he works into the story, I actually think nobody knows. Michael Waldron was initially brought on board to film this, but we are hearing Marcus and McFeely, who wrote Endgame and Infinity War, along with Civil War and The Winter Soldier, well, they could also be returning, so whatever writing stage this is in, I do suspect it's very early on, and there's nothing solidified as of yet. It would make complete sense that a being with the power to manipulate the multiverse would be part of Secret Wars. Heck, you could see him being at the center of Secret Wars. But I don't think there's any actual solid news, story, or material that give us an idea of exactly where Loki's going to fit in, so I think you guys should temper those expectations until we know more directly from Marvel Studios. Totally feels like one of those scoops that just goes out on a limb and says something we already know based on information everybody else knows and really doesn't reveal anything that can't be easily retracted, that can't be easily predicted or retracted. Hopefully we get more news on Secret Wars and Loki and where all these pieces fit together. Until we have something more solid, well, we're going to keep dumping salt on this one because I'm not too sure how much weight it actually has.